Now, our final guest has certainly been busy recently, if quick-stepping it all the way to the Strictly Come Dancing final and gearing up for a Girls Aloud comeback tour wasn't enough. She's also riding high on the success of her debut solo album. Here to tell us how she finds time for it all, please welcome Kimberley Walsh. So busy.
It's
busy.
been a really hectic time since I started Strictly. I haven't stopped really. My feet haven't really touched the ground exactly, but it's all good, so I can't complain.
But at the end of Strictly, I mean, you did so well on that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But at the end of that, I would imagine everybody just wants to go lie down in a darkened room somewhere with,
pretty much.
With slippers
I think
on.
by the time I got to the last week, I was like, I couldn't possibly do another week now, even if I had to. I was literally like, my ribs were cracked, bruises all over me. I mean, I loved it, but it's intense.
But you didn't rest because then you were there with your solo album, which had to come out, and this is called Centre Stage.
Yes,
and we're going to have a look, because this is all about musical theatre, isn't it? Which is a big passion of yours.
I do. I love musicals. I really do. And, you know, that's where I started, to be honest. Like, I went to stage school, always...
And you were in Shrek, weren't you?
And I was in Shrek, I was in Shrek in the West End, and it just kind of unleashed that... musical beast in me again. I was like, oh. So yeah, I got to record all my favourite songs, which was amazing.
How did you get to choose the songs for the album?
It was hard, actually, but most of the songs on there mean something to me. You know, they're songs that I sang as a child, or, you know, just favourite songs. And we've kind of turned them all on their head a little bit, giving them a bit of a new lease of life, because obviously they already exist out there, all these songs, so I wanted to give them something different.
And the single, your first single from this album, One Day I'll Fly Away, you managed to incorporate the dancing, because you couldn't leave the lovely Pasha alone and behind. You thought, I'll bring him with me, put him in the video.
Resist. It was too easy.
Let's have a look.
Doing it at the National TV Awards?
No.
Were you nervous?
I was nervous, but obviously, it was the first performance that I'd done. I mean, we had some technical issues on the night, so it was kind of the hardest performance I've ever had. No sound, but you know what? You kind of...
I want to ask you just quickly about Shrek, because did you really enjoy that?
I absolutely loved it. I mean, the part that I played, Fiona, was such a fun part to play. And I was able to get away with doing things that I would never do.
But you also said something about finding your third voice, or...
Yes. Well, I'd never really belted before. Like, I'd never needed to, and the group didn't even know I could. And then I was like, oh, OK. Kind of worked out loads of things.
You have a training approach,
and it really helped me loads, so it seemed like a perfect time to kind of use everything I'd learned and put it into an album,
Now you're going back on tour again with Girls Aloud. Earlier in the show we were talking about when you have rows, you know, is it a good idea to go back and talk about them in a neutral way? Now in the group, how do you do that?
Do you know what? In the group, it's kind of easy because there's 5 people, so it's always like a majority rule. So if 3 of us want to do something, that's kind of it. In relationships, obviously, it's not quite so easy. So maybe that would work though. Maybe I should try that whole third person writing things down.
You're going to try that now.
Maybe that would solve a few arguments.
You don't look like an arguer to me.
Do you know what? I'm kind of don't really have the patience to argue.
I'm like that. I just can't be bothered.
I'm a bit rubbish. I like blurt it out the same as you, and then be like, oh, I didn't really mean it. Like,
when can I ask you something about when you go back on tour? You've all done so many different things. What's it going to be like? What's it going to be like to work together again?
Do you know what? We're in rehearsals at the moment. I'm going to go straight there after this, and it's actually a really good atmosphere. And I think because we've all been off and done things on our own, and we've all grown as performers, hopefully we've improved. So now when we come together, it feels like quite a strong
Well, let's remind ourselves of the girls. We haven't seen them together for a while. This is how they look now.
You all don't look a second older than you did 10 years ago, to be honest.
I love you so much for saying that.
I'm really annoyed.
It's a long tour,
isn't it, though? Is it like 22 days?
Yeah, it's a long tour. We'll be on tour for about a month, I think. But honestly, it's so exciting. Like, everything's coming together really well. The stage set's amazing.
And what do you like away from home? What do you like away from home? Do you mind the touring in hotels?
I don't mind. I kind of like travelling around to a point, and I think this time, I think we're going to go out a little bit more and enjoy being on tour, because usually we don't.
This time together, though, have things changed?
Do you know what? Everybody's kind of fallen back into the exact
same way.
role.
Yeah.
It's so funny how that happens.
Funny.
But I think everyone's just a little bit more excited than we usually would be, because it's been 3 years.
You won't be working a little bit of a tango into your...
I would love... No, do you know what? We do have a routine in one of the numbers. I'm not going to give it away, but we do a little bit of partner work, and the girls were really taking the mick out of me. On head tilts and eye contact. They were like, oh, God, look what's happened to us. We've lost them.
You know, when you're on tour, do you miss your other half?
Yeah, no, it's hard. I mean, I'm always away. Like, I'm away a lot anyway.
See, that's why you're together. I think me and Steve are.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's so smooth. But, you know, he'll come and visit, obviously, and he's pretty chilled out. He's fine on his own. It's just,
it's
like
just
me,
He's watching all the TV he wants to watch, eating all the stuff you
exactly.
don't really let him eat.
Sure, he's fine with it.
Well, it's lovely to see you, and wish all the girls well. Have a fantastic tour. The solo album is called Centre Stage, and that is out now. But for now, Kimberley Walsh, thank you very much.